Many people understand the importance of storytelling when delivering a presentation. But what if the story is personal? Can it be shared in a business presentation? Well, here's the thing. Not only can it be done, in fact, personal stories are the most impactful stories. And personal storytelling is among the most powerful yet extremely rare skills. I'll show you how it can be done and why it matters, why you should tell personal stories in business presentations. This is Show Stopping Speakers with me, Mobeen Tahir. Here, I share with you stories and practical tips for becoming a memorable public speaker. My phone vibrates. It's a notification I don't necessarily want to see. You see, it's only been a couple of days since I've installed a new security camera in front of our house. And now the app on my phone is alerting me to movement. Now, the camera is smart. I've already defined a danger zone, which should trigger a notification. So, if there's movement in that danger zone, I should receive a notification on my mobile phone. So, clearly, someone has stepped inside the zone where I don't necessarily want them to step in. Have you got an intruder? So, I tap the notification and I take a look and I see there he is. He's standing in my driveway looking at his phone. And that's when it hits me. The intruder is me. It's me in my own driveway, and I didn't realize that I had stepped in and triggered a notification until I saw myself standing in the camera. So that moment made me realize two things. First, silly me. I just wave at the camera and have that little moment with myself. What a silly thing I've just done. But second, the second thing was an important realization. I think to myself, while this camera is smart, it would be even better if there was AI powered facial recognition. Now, if it's me in the driveway, I don't need to receive a notification. If it's my wife or my son, of course, we don't need to be notified. There's no security issue here. If it's a friendly neighbor, I don't know, maybe. But if it's someone else, that's when we should receive a notification. Now, I shared this story in a presentation about AI. I was illustrating how connected devices will increasingly incorporate AI, artificial intelligence, not just because manufacturers will push it, but because consumers will demand it. Consumers like me. And that's because now that we've got a taste for AI, we will demand our devices to have AI capabilities. Now, as I was delivering this presentation, on the screen was a very simple chart which just showed a projection of the number of connected devices in the future. But I hardly mentioned it because the chart spoke for itself. It was just a simple projection of numbers, number of connected devices in the future. Instead of talking about this very simplistic chart, I told a personal story. I shared something from my own life and I shared that in this situation to explain what the data really meant, because personal storytelling is powerful, and it's powerful for the following reasons. First and foremost, it makes you human. Personal storytelling makes you human. A personal story shows your audience that you have emotions, that you have experiences like them. Everyone has these silly moments. Everyone has frustrations with technology every now and then. And sharing something small, something as mundane as the story I just shared, it doesn't undermine your credibility. In fact, it enhances it. People connect with someone who is honest and someone who is authentic. And sharing something personal like that, an everyday moment, can create that moment of authenticity and credibility because you share something honest and you share something personal. The second thing, so the first thing was it makes you human. The second thing is it's uniquely yours. It's absolutely yours. It's never been shared before. You can craft a great story about a prominent person from history, say Henry Ford, Coco Chanel, or any other business personality, a famous leader, whatever. Those stories have, of course, been told before. Other people have told those stories, and many people might have told those stories better than you in the past. And in fact, now we have AI, and AI can tell those stories really well as well. But no one has told your story, and no one can tell it better than you. And that is what makes it fresh. That is what makes it original. And that is why it must be told. So it makes you human. The story is uniquely yours. And number three, it creates a wow effect. Now, when a personal story is shared and you make a connection between that personal story and your business presentation topic, it grabs people's attention because at the beginning you're almost creating a distraction. You've immersed your audience in a personal story and they're not entirely sure where you're going with this. But then when you bring it back to your business presentation topic and you create that connection and relevance, that creates a wow effect on the audience because it just all comes together. You shared a very powerful story, but then you managed to create a link to your message that you want them to remember, the message that you want to convey in your business presentation. And it just comes with a little bit of thought. But once you put that thought in and you deliver it effectively, it's something that's so rare. It's just so rarely done. And that is why it really creates that impact. So, the best way to master this approach, because often when I tell people to share personal stories, they come to me and they say, we don't have personal stories to share. What do we do? Well, to anyone who thinks that they don't have personal stories to share, I will refer you to the approach taught by Matthew Dix. I'm a big fan of his work. I've read his books, Storyworthy and Stories Sell. Fantastic books. If you haven't read them, I strongly recommend them. In these books, he talks about a framework called Homework for Life. And the idea is that you document a story worthy moment from your day at the end of each day. And as you go through this exercise, you can start recording those moments as and when they happen. So have a simple framework. I personally have an app on my phone and I just record the daily entry there or multiple entries in a day. And you can develop your own system. But ultimately, when you start recording those moments, those small moments from your everyday life, it will become easier to recall them later. So you'll build a library of stories. And as you build that library of stories, as and when you require a story in a business presentation, you can then pick a story and then you can see which one might be easiest to establish a connection and relevance to your business presentation. And this is an exercise. The more you do it, the better you will become at it. But the first step is to start recording those story worthy moments from your everyday life. And the more you start recording them, the more you start seeing them, and the easier the process becomes. Now, of course, lectures are boring, stories are better, and personal stories are the best. They are the most powerful tools you can use in a business presentation. So, if you want to stand out, if you really want to stand out from the crowd and be memorable, dig into your life for stories. Have you ever had an intruder in your driveway? Thank you for tuning into Show Stopping Speakers with me, Mobeen Tahir. Subscribe for more stories and practical tips for becoming a memorable public speaker, and share this with someone who might find this useful. And I will see you next time.